Plan to disable you wasn't supposed to start until the 15th. We're a week ahead of schedule. We're that efficient. Okay. We're showing you our hand, Matt. We probably have to start going, eh?
Right, so he's just waiting for a call. You might need your gavel after all.
Yeah. Are we on?
I don't think so.
No? We are?
Are we live now? We are live on Shaw.
So I would like to welcome everybody to our council meeting tonight. I'd like to begin by recognizing and thanking the broadcasting partners and the media partners who broadcast our meeting and report on it. And I'd like to acknowledge with respect that we are in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, and the land upon which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, known as Bowatang. Bowatang is home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council, the Indigenous Friendship Center, and the head office of Missinaba Cree First Nation. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion by councillors Dufour and Scott, resolved that the minutes of regular council meeting of September 20, 2022 be approved.
All in favor? Motion carried.
And under agenda item 4, declaration of pecuniary interest, Councillor Shoemaker has declared with respect to the Ontario Land Tribunal appeal at 130 Wellington Street East as the applicant is a client of the law firm.
Any other declarations, council? Seeing none.
Under agenda item 5, a motion by councillors Bezo, Allen, and Gardy resolved that the agenda for November 7, 2022 City Council meeting as presented be approved.
All in favor? Carried.
Agenda item 6.1 is a proclamation, Transgender Day of Awareness.
Whereas November is Transgender Awareness Month, a time to honor, celebrate, learn about, and advocate for the transgendered and gender diverse community. Whereas Transgender Awareness Month culminates with the Transgender Day of Remembrance each year on November 20th. People across the world pause to remember mourn the lives lost to transphobic violence. This began in Boston in 1998 in response to the murder of the beloved community member Rita Hester. Whereas despite significant progress made in the fight for transgender rights, recorded instances of transphobic violence and discrimination are higher now than at the time of Hester's tragic death. Whereas the City of Sault Ste. Marie is committed to fostering a safe and welcoming community where citizens feel valued and that they are in a position to contribute. Now therefore, I, Christian Provenzano, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, on behalf of the City of Sault Ste. Marie City Council, do hereby proclaim November 20th, 2022 as Transgender Day of Remembrance in the City of Sault Ste. Marie. And I encourage all citizens of all orientations and identities to join together to celebrate the contributions of transgender people and commit to work towards eliminating discrimination against all transgendered, gender, non-conforming, and non-binary people.
Agenda item 2 is a proclamation for Lung Cancer Awareness Month.
Whereas lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death among men and women in Canada, accounting for more deaths than colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer combined. Whereas more than 20,000 Canadians are expected to die of lung cancer in 2022, representing nearly 1/4 of all cancer deaths in Canada. Whereas screening for lung cancer for high-risk individuals using low-dose computed tomography can lead to earlier detection of lung cancer and save lives. Whereas organizations such as Canadian Lung Cancer Screening Initiative are committed to educating the public about lung cancer and lung cancer screening. Now therefore, I, Christian Provenzano, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, do hereby proclaim November 2022 as Lung Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Sault Ste. Marie and encourage all citizens to learn about lung cancer and early detection through lung cancer screening.
And that will bring us to consent.
We have 2 matters tonight on the consent agenda, Council. Do you have any questions on those consent matters? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
We have a motion by Councillors Duffer and Scott, resolved that all items listed under date November 7, 2022, agenda item 7, consent agenda, be approved as recommended.
All in favor? Oh, we should separate them for Councillor. We should separate them for Mayor Shoemaker.
Okay, 7.1 is the Ontario Land Tribunal appeal at 130 Wellington Street East. It's a motion by Councillors Duffer and Scott, resolved that the report of the solicitor dated November 7, 2022 concerning Ontario Land Tribunal Appeal 130 Wellington Street be received, and that Council confirm that despite the appeal, Council wishes to proceed with bylaw 2022-174 as passed on September 20, 2022.
All in favor? Motion carried unanimously.
It should be open for voting.
Yeah.
Councillor Christian in the affirmative. Councillor Gardy and Councillor Scott. And agenda item 7.2 is a motion by Councillors Duffer and Gardy, resolved that the report of the solicitor dated November 7, 2022 concerning Ontario Land Tribunal Appeal 204 South Market Street be received, and that Council confirm that despite the appeal, Council wishes to proceed with zoning bylaw 2022-155 as passed on August 29, 2022.
Councillor Hollingsworth, you have a question with this?
I do. Through you, your worship, to Mr. Larry Girardi.
Okay.
Just to clarify, it's my understanding when we last talked about this, that Public Works, along with our traffic department, was going to dive into and make sure that traffic volume is going to be reviewed again for safety of Ward 1 constituents. And I just want some confirmation.
Through Mr. Mayor to Councillor Hollingsworth, I'm not quite sure.
What we're going to do is we're going to send that question over
Okay.
to planning or engineering to answer it.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Mr. Tenazzo, we'll come to you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Hollingsworth. So certainly at the council meeting, there was some concerns raised about traffic, and I believe there was a bit of a blind corner on South Market. But at the end of the day, council approved it. We stand by our recommendation. The applicant hired a professional engineer to complete a traffic study. They suggested that the surrounding road network can handle this new development safely with regards to vehicular traffic as well as pedestrian traffic. They did recommend a left-hand turn lane into the development, which will be implemented through site plan control. And then I believe there was some timing of the lights at Trunk and South Market that was also recommended. But ultimately, at the end of the day, our professional engineers agreed with the professional engineer and the traffic impact study that was completed as in support of the application.
Okay. And just one last question. When was the impact study done again? Can you refresh our memories? How long ago?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Hollingsworth. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact date. I would suspect within the last 12 months. It would have been done in support of the application. So it would have been this calendar year.
Okay. Okay, thank you. There'll be further discussion in the future about this because it is still very much of a concern of mine in Ward 1. Thank you.
So we've got the motion read. All in favor? Motion's carried.
So I have that carried
Unanimously.
unanimously.
That's correct. That brings us to section 9, I believe, Madam Clerk.
Yes, it does.
So this is comments from members of council. With your discretion, Councillor Bruni, I would normally start with Councillor Christian, then go to you, then Councillor Nero. But since you're able to come back and Councillor Nero isn't, I was going to go Councillor Christian, Councillor Nero, then come back over to you. Before I do that, I just want to recognize and congratulate all of the members of councils who were re-elected and all of the incumbents that ran were won. And I want to say that I was rooting for all of you and I was happy to see it. And I think you'll bring a lot of leadership to the next council. I want to welcome and recognize the new councilors that won, Mr. Sonny Spina, Ms. Angela Caputo, Mr. Ron Zagordo, and I think we have one with us tonight, Stefan Kinnick. It's nice to meet you today, and I wish you the best with your council term. And Councillor Shoemaker, Mayor Shoemaker, I'll save my comments for you for when I speak. So we're going to go around the room, and we're going to give you all a chance to say goodbye or your comments. I would ask the council to respect, although I am not respecting the time limit, because I couldn't fit everything into the time limit. I'd ask you to be mindful of it, but I've already committed to Councillor Christian and Councillor Nero that I would not cut them short. And I frankly won't cut any of you short either. But we do have a number of people here tonight, and I want to thank them for taking the time and the effort for coming out. So Councillor Christian, I am going to start with you. Buckle up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been a pleasure representing Ward 1 constituents for my 12 years on council. I think a councillor has to conduct themselves in a fair, impartial, and objective manner. For me, staying on any longer means that I could lose that impartiality and objective focus. So it's for that reason that I decided not to run for re-election. It's important for the city to have a new set of eyes moving forward. So with that, I believe I served the community to the best of my abilities, and I hope I've contributed in some small positive way. I want to begin by thanking my wife and my daughters, Jenna and Laura, for their tireless support during the last 12 years. As they know, especially during campaign time, I often morphed into an aggressive, agitated, possessed alter ego bent on winning. You know, unlike my normal, pleasant, irresistible self. I want to thank the constituents of Ward 1, many of whom I've had the pleasure of working with and knowing through my 12 years. The Councillor Bruni and Nero, who like me have been part of council for 3 terms. We've been through quite a bit, and through it all, we've remained respectful of each other. And I certainly appreciate the time we've together moving council in a positive direction. How Councillor Bruni survives without my guidance and wisdom is beyond me, but I wish him all the best. To Councillor Hollingsworth, it's been great working with you over the past 6 years and especially for the last 4 as my ward mate. Your support, concern, and dedication to Ward 1 constituents is inspiring, it's self-evident and well documented. Page 112 to go. Just, it's not that long. Thank you to former Mayor Debbie Amoroso. She helped guide me through my first year and supported me through my entire first term of council. To Councillor Butlin, who is a great mentor and is a friend of mine, thank you. He took me under his wing and together we worked very well as ward mates, sharing ideas and initiatives and certainly a few laughs. He carried himself professionally and was patient with constituents and city staff alone. Speaking of which, to CAO White and city staff, it was great working with you. Not only do you have to carry out normal duties, but also answer to the many resolutions and initiatives and questions that are asked of you from councillors. Yours is a difficult task and one that requires patience, understanding, and a lot of self-control. To Mayor-elect Shoemaker, congratulations on your election victory. Matt, you're a relentless and tireless worker, and you'll seek opportunities to move the city forward. I'm confident that your enthusiasm and youthful exuberance will continue to benefit the city as we move forward. Congratulations to Councillor Hilsinger for running a great campaign. I know you will put your talents and energy and commitment to the city on full display as you continue to champion the arts, leisure, and the environment. To those councillors who are seated around this room, thank you for your passion and dedication representing your constituents. I know I speak for the citizens of Sault Ste. Marie when I say thank you. Mayor Provenzano, it's been an honor working with you over the last 8 years. You've led council through a roller coaster ride of challenges and opportunities, and we've had many successes during our time together. I believe you may be touching on many of those, so I won't take up any time speaking about them myself. However, I will say that the city is fortunate to have had you leading council through unprecedented times and doing so with passion, commitment, integrity, and determination. I hope that we will continue to benefit from your involvement in the community. To our newly elected councillors, congratulations. I wish you all the best and every success. You will quickly learn that there is a steep hill to climb in moving the city, but with hard work and a commitment to what you believe in, you will make a difference. I want to give special recognition to one member of the media who I believe deserves mention. Elaine Delamattia from the Sioux Star has been covering council since I was first elected 12 years ago. In my opinion, she has been extremely fair and objective in her coverage. Elaine conducts herself very professionally and demonstrates her responsibility in reporting the news. She understands that how you present the news affects social discourse in our community. Before I leave, I want to briefly express a few of my hopes for the city as our new council takes over. To begin with, I hope this next council will continue to prioritize the needs of the entire city and not bend toward politics or personal agendas. We as a community benefit when the needs of all are weighed in decision-making in council. I hope that the Heritage Walk, which I brought forward as a resolution a couple of years ago and which is the funding support of council, is completed in short order. The goal of this plaque-driven walk on the waterfront is designed to celebrate Sault Ste. Marie's storied history, our significance in the development of Canada, and to serve as an education piece for both our citizens and visitors to our community. I hope that the Connect Sioux initiative that I introduced 5 years ago will continue after I'm gone. This initiative brought expatriates together to discuss challenges and opportunities facing our city. The people who chose to participate hold Sault Ste. Marie dear and are prepared to help if we can continue to articulate our vision and provide them with a forum for them to contribute. Unfortunately, the pandemic put this initiative on hold for about 2.5 years. But this is a process that in my mind must continue. I hope that the downtown plaza is a huge success. No city can claim to provide good quality of life for its citizens without a vibrant downtown. This project was strongly recommended by the experts as a way of revitalizing the downtown, and projects such as this have proven to be successful in other communities. The plaza will work if the community supports it. It will succeed if we help it succeed. How? First of all, proper programming is needed by city staff and the Downtown Association. If they do this, they'll give people a reason to visit. And if they visit and attend, the plaza will be successful. Secondly, authorities like the police services need to provide a safe, family-friendly environment. If they do this, it will give residents peace of mind and a reason to attend the plaza. Final page. Thirdly, downtown merchants must support the plaza by extending operating hours and offering discounts, incentives, and promotions for those who visit the plaza. This plaza will benefit them directly, so why not? Be aggressive, creative, and positive. If you do this, the merchants in the plaza will benefit and we all succeed. And fourth, citizens must participate and give it a chance. Don't find reasons and excuses not to give the plaza its due. If you attend and support the site, it will succeed and you will have added to your lifestyle improvements. My final hope is that all citizens take pride in Sault Ste. Marie and become its biggest supporters. We have real challenges, of course, so does every community, but we need to believe in ourselves and offer positive energy and commitment to solving these issues. The only real option we have is to think positively. Don't regress into negativity. It's not healthy, useful, or appreciated. People trying to make a difference want your support. You've chosen and committed to live here. Make good on your commitment. It's been a great 12 years and I wish our next council all the best. I'll be rooting for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Christian. Councillor Nero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me start with thanking you, Mayor Provenzano, for both the friendship and the working relationship we have enjoyed over the past 2 terms of council. It has been both an honor and a pleasure. I knew from the first time you asked me to meet with you after you were first elected that you were both focused and sincere with your desire to move the city forward. Mr. Mayor, you've been the 5th mayor that I have worked with over the 24 years that I have been on council, and I want to congratulate you on the work that you have done as mayor and head of this council during the past 2 terms. I want to thank our staff for all the work that they do in carrying out all our city operations. We as a council make policy decisions as a governance body, but it is our staff who implement those decisions and make them work. I want to thank our CAO, our deputy CAOs, and our department directors who are always present at our council meetings to discuss and answer questions regarding our agenda items. But I also want to thank our entire staff, all the staff on all the department teams. We receive many requests from constituents regarding issues that need to be addressed. And we in turn rely on our staff to determine how best to resolve those issues. So to all staff that I have phoned, emailed, submitted requests to, scheduled a meeting with, met with me on a site visit at the residence property, and helped me in resolving a constituent request, thank you very much. Thank you to everyone here in this room that I have served with over the last term, especially my ward mate, Councillor Bruni. We didn't always vote on the same side on some issues, but we always have had a good working relationship. Meetings were a little different because of COVID-19 restrictions, but we still managed to get the work done. It's been great working with all of you. Congratulations to my friend and colleague next to me, Councillor Paul Christian, who is also retiring. Thank you for all those phone discussions we had over council issues. I certainly witnessed. Your contribution to the council has not gone unnoticed. Congratulations to all the candidates who put their names forward for all elected positions, and especially to Councillor Hilsinger for your courage in running for mayor. We all know how tough it is to put your name out there. And I will definitely miss your genuine excitement and passion that you regularly have shown during your comments in council. Congratulations to the new incoming council to be inaugurated next week, including all of you here that have been reelected, and also the 4 new councillor-elects. A special congratulations to you, Councillor Mayor-elect Shoemaker, on your successful campaign. I can attest to the fact that you have worked hard during the last 2 terms and that you have positioned yourself well to take over the mayor's chair. I wish you and your new council the best in continuing to move this city forward. Those of us who have decided to get involved in politics, no matter at what level, know that it's a decision that cannot be made alone. It involves the whole family. I want to thank my wife Pauline for all the help and support during the 24 years that I have been on council. She was always very involved in my election campaigns and made sure that things were organized while I was out knocking on doors. Thanks to my children, Erica, Andrea, and Richard, who were always very involved as well during election campaigns. Between the three of them, they took care of things like sign design, mail out design, content printing and layout, sign installation and maintenance. And I want to acknowledge that they are here all tonight, as well as two of my grandchildren, Madison and Maisie. I also want to thank the many family and friends who were there to help for 7 elections. There were always 30 to 40 people ready to help by going door to door, delivering election flyers. Thank you so much. My biggest thank goes out to the voters in Ward 4. During my time on council, I believe the ward boundaries of Ward 4 changed 2 times. So my thank you is to Ward 4 voters past and present. I thank all of you who have shown your support for me and allowed me to represent you for 24 years on this council. Today, I started my last week as a councillor for Ward 4. I'm retiring from the daily demands of municipal politics, but I will take with me many memories of the 24 years on city council that were both stimulating and challenging. That's what makes it so bittersweet. I'm going to miss it. It has been truly an honor and a privilege to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. It occurs to me while you were speaking that there's no reason why you and Councillor Christian have to stop talking about council issues. And no one's going to care if you call each other before every council meeting. Yeah, that's right. Councillor Bruni.
I'll just be very, very short because my comments will be for next week. But first of all, I'd like to thank Councillor Hilsinger for her service, especially in the arts, the culture, and the environment. She was a leader in these. I only have a few minutes, so I'll speak about Councillor Christian for 1 minute only. I'll be very short. Paul, I thank you for your dedication to Ward 1 and to the city of Sault Ste. Marie. You've been a good friend. I will miss your presence at council meetings. For the public that do not know, Paul comes to my house once a year to make his salamis, and he spends a whole day. He eats very well, and then he leaves. He doesn't clean up. He doesn't do anything else. And 3 months later, I go and deliver his salamis to him. He doesn't even pick them up.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. To Councillor Nero, I thank you for your 4 years as my ward colleague. I really appreciate it, your leadership. You represent the residents very, very well. You have taught me a few things that I will always remember. It has been an honor and a privilege to have you as my partner, and I thank you very, very much. And to Mayor Provenzano, I might not agree with you everything that you brought forward, but I do respect you. And I know you bring the best interests to the city of Sault Ste. Marie and to the residents. You are very passionate and you are devoted to the city, and that I thank you. And one side note, Mayor Provenzano was not a hockey fan, but after every Toronto Maple Leaf game, he would text me a couple comments. That field, he doesn't know anything about hockey. But
truer words were never spoken.
But I do enjoy those comments, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Councillor Bruni. Mayor-elect Shoemaker, I'm going to come to you next.
Thank you, Mayor Provenzano. First, I'd like to thank my council colleague for the last 4 years, Councillor Hilsinger, who is extremely passionate, as we've all heard tonight, in the fields of tourism, arts and recreation, culture, and the environment. And she has been an excellent colleague to serve with the constituents of Ward 3. We, I think as a body, we're better for her contribution. And I'm grateful and hopeful that she will continue to give back to our community, as I trust she will, as she has over the last, I don't want to give away her age, but many decades of contribution to our community. And so I look forward to her continued involvement in our city. Councilor Nero, 34 years ago, next Monday, you were first elected. And I know that because on the same day I was born. So I can say definitively that for your entire, my entire life, you have given back to our community. And I am grateful that I got a chance to serve with you for the last 8 years and learn from you, learn from your experience. And I hope you as well will continue to be involved in civic life, because I think that your experience and what you have contributed to our city goes a long way to helping us shape future decisions and learning from your experience with future decisions. Councilor Christian, you are what you said so many words that I've got no words to say about you. You have become a great friend, and as much as I appreciate everything I've learned from you on council, you're extremely focused on the issues that you are passionate about. You always look at whatever issue comes up through the lens of your key priorities for moving our community forward. Metric and data driven. You always want to see the numbers and how they support the decisions we're making. But I just like you. That's the best thing I can say. As good of a counselor as I believe you are, you're also just a great guy. And so thank you for giving me the opportunity to get to know you, for your support over the years. And to you, Mayor Provenzano, for the last 8 years, you've given up part of your work life, part of your home life, and you've given it up for the betterment of our city life. So you've conducted yourself with dignity in office. I shouldn't get emotional talking about you. And the city you deserve the city's gratitude for your contributions to the betterment of Sault Ste. Marie. You have a lovely wife and 3 lovely girls here. And if the viewers at home could see how beautiful your family is, they'd see that you had every reason to put aside the demands of the mayoralty.
I'm in big trouble when I get to
the demands of the mayoralty to spend time with your young family. And we collectively are grateful to you for not having done that. And you gave us your time and your commitment the last 2 terms. And I extend my family's appreciation for that and wish you the best in what I'll call your retirement, but really it's just you having 1 job instead of 2. So best wishes for the next several successful years of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Shoemaker. Councilor Dufour.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to start off by simply thanking the voters of Ward 2 for their vote of confidence. In this past election, it was always is a pleasure to hear from our constituents and to work with them. And so I thank you all. Quickly, Councilor Nero, one of my first ever interactions with you was running against you. And you were one of the kindest, most gentlemanly opponents that I think I will ever face, because you constantly took me aside after debates. You talked to me, you made me feel welcome, you made me feel respected, and you made me feel like this was a body that I could one day be a part of. And I sincerely thank you for that. It played a role in my repeated campaigns to get elected, and I'm very proud to have been able to join you and work with you for this past term. I'm sincerely going to miss your guidance and experience. I think of several occasions where I called you up to continue to get your advice and your thoughts, and I can assure you I'm probably still going to do that because you are a wise and caring person for our community, and I sincerely thank you for it. Councillor Christian, I've really enjoyed working with you two as well. You've been a tremendous mentor to me, especially during my time serving on the DSAB. You're always a huge encouragement to any time I suggested something different or creative. You pushed me, but you also supported me, and I'm going to miss you as well. Mayor Provenzano, you've been a tremendous example of the kind of dedication that I hope to continue to aspire to show to my community. You have consistently, time after time after time, made yourself personally and professionally available to myself, and I appreciate that sincerely. You've been a tremendous advocate for our community, and I will carry the inspiration of your leadership into this next term. And I thank you very much for all that you've done, and I'm very excited for you for this next chapter in your life. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking you, your worship, Mayor. You have given us all the opportunity to fine tune our leadership skills. That is a true leader. You have encouraged us all to take the leads in areas that interest and where we have a passion. You recognized our passion and encouraged us to follow our interests and passion. You have stepped aside many times to allow us to spread our wings, but yet protected us to ensure that we weren't going to fall off a cliff. You challenge us to rethink ideas to a point, to a level that would be passed, hopefully passed by council. You encourage us to look at a different angle. Those are the traits of a good leader, which is what you are. A good leader, I feel, is when you have been taught something new or you have learned something. You constantly taught me many great new skills. A leader such as yourself is someone that does not take control of the helm all times, but shares. A good leader is someone that listens and is open-minded. Do you think that's you? I do. Yes, for sure it is. That you have given us all new skills. And I will cherish those new skills. And I know that personally, and I'm sure others around this table, will take those and put them to good use. If I may say, your girls, your amazing wife, are very fortunate to have you. And your girls are fortunate to have a great dad like yourself. On behalf of the city, thank you. I now would like to thank my ward mate, Paul Christian. I've known you for many years, way before we gathered here at this table. I remember the first time you brought Julie to our family. She's a wonderful person. You have a wonderful family. But Paul, if I may say, I just want to give you a hug many ways, because you also have taught me to relax, think through all issues. You have the natural skill, the natural personality to make sure that all constituents, all people you work with are comfortable, and that you do give them time to voice their concerns. Thank you so much for bringing me into your life with regards to resolutions and new ideas. Donna, you are a current leader before you came on council, even when you're on council, and you will continue to be a community leader, not just with the environment or the arts, but for women's rights. And I look forward to reaching out to you for more advice. There's many people around this table. Rick, you have been the beacon, if I may say, of this council for our ship. You have the wisdom, as you just heard, but you truly do have a father figure, and that's a compliment. When we've had some challenges, you reached out to many of us to say it's going to be okay. And I thank you for that. And if I may say, there's going to be so many more thank yous and compliments to my other colleagues that will continue on, such as Luke Dufour. You work very hard for the most vulnerable, and I will hold more comments until next week. And to Lisa, you work very hard for many families with disabilities, but I won't go into a great deal until next week. Corey, you with your students. Matt Scott, I'll keep my comments, but again, you're such a wonderful family person to bring family issues to our table, and you know your numbers. That's a good strength to have. And Marchie, what can I say? Another father figure in a good way. Mayor-elect, my buddy beside me, I can't wait until next week because the next 4 years are going to be absolutely wonderful and vibrant. You have an Alec Harry, a past mayor's qualifications, skills, knowledge, and he actually, I've said this to you many times, you look like him. And I can't wait till I get that picture right beside you because you are Alec Harry, and I respected him and I respect you. You're also very open-minded and will be an excellent leader for this community. Thank you to all, and again, have a wonderful family life, Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. To Councillor Hilsinger, I wanted to say thank you to her for always being very supportive of some of the things that I brought to the council table over the course of the last 4 years. She was a partner I could count on when any issue that related to the environment. I thank her for her passion as it relates to that issue. Councillor Christian, there are a number of things that I'll miss about you, but specifically your sense of humor. And I will admit in public that when I first got elected, I wasn't sure what to think. And in reaching out to Mayor Provenzano, when I first got elected, he told me you would be one of the people I liked the most, and especially appreciate that sense of humor of yours. It's grown on me over the course of the last few years. And I will miss the text messages here and there, and some of the conversation pre and post council meetings. Best of luck. Councillor Nero, when I first got elected, my go-to person when I didn't know what the heck I was doing was often you, by way of a phone call or an email. I appreciate the time you took as a rookie, me being a rookie councillor and you being a veteran, to kind of point me often in the right direction. My grandfather, Vic Gardy, served with you a few decades ago. And I was, he hasn't been around in about 25 years, so that'll put it in some perspective. But he often said very nice things about you that I recall. And my grandmother, his wife Elda, always spoke highly of Pauline. And I grew to know you. I knew Pauline in the past. I grew to know you better. And what he mentioned to me was very, very true of both of you. Best of luck and best of health moving forward. Mr. Provenzano.
I gotta speak with these two.
What?
I gotta speak after these two, so you gotta go easy.
Okay, hold on. So couple things. So I have a pretty unique perspective. I have a pretty unique perspective of you. You and I have been friends for almost as long as maybe a little longer than Mr. Nero's been on council. And so I have a sense of what you sacrificed to a degree to serve our community for the last 8 years. But I also know why you chose to, and personally and professionally, I was happy that you did. We're better off for it. If I think of you'll probably speak to some of the issues that were near and dear to your heart that you brought forward and this council supported you on, or in the previous council. But I wanted to pay specific attention to the rural and northern immigration pilot program. Because I know, and I can say this, that you were instrumental in convincing the federal government to establish a program such as this. You recognized the importance of economic immigration to smaller communities. And albeit, I can maybe even say you were a bit prescient in the matter, especially how important it would be to Northern Ontario and Sault Ste. Marie. And I think the community needs to know how instrumental you were, and to thank you for it. And hopefully we'll see the benefits of this program and others moving forward to address some of our demographic challenges. I dare not ever speak for you, but based upon our relationship and a lot of your family being what I consider my family, I think I can speak for your family and for your friends to let you know that we're extremely proud of the work that you've done, that you represented your family, who has a long history of service in this community, to the standard that they always operated. I know your Uncle Carmen would be tremendously proud of you. And I said this publicly a couple weeks ago, but I said in my comments that you are almost as good a mayor as you are a friend and or a family member. I will tell you, you have been as good a mayor as you are a friend and family member, and that's quite the measure in my opinion. So congratulations, best of luck to you and Kylie and the girls, and I'll call you tomorrow night. Thanks.
I guess they have it there. Councillor Scott, we'll go to you, and then Councillor President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep it brief. I know we've all made that promise or tried to, but I'll stick to it. A lot changes in 4 years. 4 years ago, I didn't fully grasp what I was getting myself into, I don't think, knowing what I know now, but I couldn't have had a better group around me for these past 4 years. And I mean that sincerely. To the outgoing councillors, and I'll start and work my way up. Councillor Hilsinger, oftentimes during the meetings that could be seen leaning over and either making a quip and having her laugh, or asking a question, or just bouncing ideas off of her on the fly. And she was always great for that and fantastic for that. So I really do appreciate that we got lined up where we did. I don't think I would have preferred sitting next to any other councillor, and that's not to offend anyone. Councillor Nero, I'm not going to make any quips about the age and how long you've been on council, but I have been alive longer than you've been a councillor. And I'll leave that for everyone else to determine how long, but I have been. When I first got onto council, you were one of the people that I would often ask questions of before council meetings, or whenever we just had an opportunity to speak, and your leadership and experience and guidance were there's no value to put on that. And I really appreciate that. And the community was very lucky to have you serve for such a long time. And I think that you've set definitely a precedent with current and future councils on how to represent your constituents and your city. Thank you. Councillor Christian, same goes for you. I often texted you some ridiculous questions, I'm sure. Some things that you probably thought, oh great, another newbie doesn't know what he's doing. But I can say that I really appreciate you always taking the time to fully answer any questions that I had, and walk me through and give me your opinions on it. It was definitely helped me out over the past 4 years. And I can say comfortably that nobody takes Christmas lighting more seriously than Councillor Christian. And really did make that committee what it was. Thank you. Mayor Provenzano, I thank you as well. I remember when I first got onto council, it's a whirlwind when you first start, whether or not you think you're ready. And we met, and you took me into your office, and we had a discussion, and You gave me a lot of advice on just everything. And one thing that sticks to this day, and I always think about it and I really appreciate it. You probably don't even remember this piece of advice, is you told me once to smile more. And it was funny because I was like, smile more. But then I thought about it and you're right. Because sometimes when you just sit here and you drone on and you kind of project how you look, right? So if you're smiling, you can come off a lot more, I don't know, counsel-like. And I take that to heart because every time I'm talking now, I think about smile more and am I smiling? Am I projecting myself properly? And I really do appreciate it. It's just such a small piece of advice that's really stuck with me over the past 4 years and will continue to. And I really do appreciate that. But I don't want to take too much of what Councillor Gowdy was saying as well, but the community definitely, we're lucky to have you over the past 8 years. And I can say that I was lucky to have you as our mayor for the past 4 because it was, couldn't imagine it any other way. Councillor Bruni is right though about the Leafs. I mean, maybe the hockey thing isn't in the future, but that's okay. Career in broadcasting is out, but I do appreciate all the help that you've given me, and I really want to thank you for that. And I hope you get to enjoy time with your family. I can appreciate having some young children, and I'm going to go home and convince my wife to buy a van tonight after our little discussion earlier. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah. Minivans are great. Thank you very much, Councilor Scott. Councilor Vesuel.
Firstly, I just want to congratulate all of the returning councillors. I look forward to working with you for another 4 years. Just to put age in perspective, I'll be 59 at the end of that. So start planning my 60th now, please. Congratulations to Mayor-elect Shoemaker. I know that you will keep that same open door routine like our outgoing mayor has done. I think that's really important in team building, which we've managed to do during a pandemic when we rarely saw each other face to face and just over video. So I think we all need to be congratulated on how effective we were with most of the time we were on Zoom. I want to congratulate our incoming councillors and looking forward to working with you as well. Outgoing councillors, I'm going to start with Mr. Christian. So Mr. Christian and I have been involved with Thrive Foundation. We were both involved for many years. So I've been working with Mr. Christian, I think since about, 2007, 2006. I'm going to miss your text messages. So please keep texting me. He likes to do a word count, lets me know when I'm talking for too long, and then I'll time him. And usually he's longer than I am. So I think he's got a little bit of a problem there with figuring out who's longer. So Paul, you've done a lot of things for our community, and I really hope that you keep your commitment, not just as an educator, but what you've done here on council. You've a lot of varied thing, everything from PUC to kids with disabilities to obviously the tree lighting that's really important to you. But seriously, you've done a lot for our community, and I'm looking forward because you're not that old, so you can keep doing it. You can keep doing it. I appreciate it. Rick, I can't thank you enough. I got involved with some committees that were definitely a little out of my scope, especially with the IMET, and you were such a guidance to me in terms of, who does what in terms of public works and building and all of that kind of thing. So I really appreciate it. It really helped me to make sure I was focused on the right things. And we're going to miss your wisdom here and your fairness and your openness. I have to say, a lot of people think, you don't want to have these long-standing counselors because you want fresh ideas. And I think it's quite the opposite with you, Rick. I think you've always had fresh ideas and open to progressive activities and projects. And we're going to miss you around. So I hope you definitely come to visit. I want to give kudos to outgoing councillor Donna Hilsinger for running for mayor. Of the 26 candidates between council and mayor, we only had 4 women. And I think that's a shame. So Donna ran a really great campaign, a very open campaign. I think all of us as women that are involved in politics need to be mentors and bring up the next generation and really encourage other women. We definitely don't have gender balance. And not that that's a necessity, but I would definitely like to see more women getting involved, and boards and committees are coming up. So I think we all have a duty to push for women to get involved in boards and committee work and to put their name on the ballot next time. And Mayor Provenzano, oh geez, I think I'm going to cry. I wasn't going to. I've been, thank you, working with Christian from Big Brothers Days and Children's Rehab and Sioux Youth Association, and your dad was such a huge mentor to me and helped me with so many things. And, you know, Chloe and Isla and Alice, they gave up time with their dad so that you could do this. And Kylie, you're an amazing woman. Like it takes a village. You've supported me, you've mentored me, you've helped me when I've been in uncomfortable positions. You've rallied me. You've been a cheerleader, and I know that you will continue to do that. And, you know, your commitment to our community and your kindness and your openness, but also making sure that we all towed the line. And that's really important to have that balance. So I really respect you for that. And I know that you'll continue to do great things in our community. I know that you'll continue to be a good friend and a good mentor to me. So thank you. And thank you, everyone.
I think that's one of mine. That's making noise. So I've maybe we'll start with a bit of levity before I get into my speech. One of the people I've had the privilege of working with in the mayor's office, his name's Jordan. Jordan's here. And last week I was texting Jordan, telling him I thought I was gonna have a really hard time getting through Monday night. But I actually wasn't texting Jordan. I was texting my neighbor, Jordan. And when I realized it, I turned to my wife and I'm like, I just told Jordan I'm gonna cry. And she must be wondering what is wrong with Christian. Because that Jordan wouldn't have known what I was referring to when I referred to Monday night. And so that's a true story. I'll just give you some markers here. You know what, Alice? Do you want to come up here? Just to be quiet. Yeah. So if I get through the first 3 paragraphs and the last 3 paragraphs, I'm going to be in good shape. But I will, I'll do my best to get through those as best as I can. So Madam Clerk, CO White, councillors, and our fellow Siouxites, we have gathered to mark the end of the 2018-2022 council term specifically. But my comments will be a more general reflection on the 2 terms of service that began in 2014. This is going to be the hard part because this is where I talk about my family. Oh, I think they're coming. I have no clue how I'm going to do this. So they travel in a pack of 3. So I should have thought of that when I invited Alice up. Alice, you can't sit in that chair. No, that's not your chair. That's not your chair. You gotta. No, she can sit on my lap. Oh. Okay. Keep it. So this is a microphone, okay? So you girls can't speak because I'm trying to do something. Okay? So this is Isla, this is Alice, and that's Chloe over here. So just speaking of there. There are a number of sacrifices and challenges that come with being a public figure. In order to serve, politicians should accept those without complaint because they are a natural and understandable part of the role. We do not, however, bear them alone. This was a bad idea. I want to recognize my family in the gallery today and watching from elsewhere. My parents, Frank and Ann, my brothers Aaron and Dallas, my sister Liza, my aunts Nancy, Marlene and Ada, my cousin Mikey and Meg, their boys Matthew and Max, my in-laws Tom and Paula, and of course my beautiful family, my wife Kylie, and our girls Isla, Chloe and Alice. Everything begins and ends with you. Thank you for walking the road of the last 8 years with me. Being there for the highs and the lows from the beginning to today's end. Kylie, Isla, Chloe, and Dallas, for better or worse, you now have my undivided attention. As Malcolm White will attest, it is not always a welcome thing. I am very eagerly looking forward to the next stage of our lives. I also want to recognize, hey, sweetheart, come over here. Come over here. Just come over here. Chloe, come over here. Okay, stay over there. I also want to recognize the team at Provincana Law. I would not have been able to come here every day for 8 years if you didn't work together to support me and do such a fantastic job of it. I am lucky for you and grateful to you. I want to give special recognition to my father, who worked farther into what would have otherwise been retirement years than I could have ever reasonably asked him to. When I ran for mayor in 2014, my campaign had 3 specific themes: leadership, accountability, and responsible spending. I've worked hard to live up to these values and to serve our community in accord with them. The underlying message of 2014 was that our community had to start doing things differently to meet and overcome the challenges that it faced. Put simply, we had to transition from maintaining the city we have to building the city that we want. I suggest that we began that transition. In the midst of it, we faced many challenges together, some that we anticipated or expected, some that we clearly didn't. Amongst other less substantial, a dramatic loss of municipal assessment value in 2016, a Goma Steel's insolvency proceedings, the precipitous drop in oil prices that led to Tenaris temporarily shuttering its operations, structural demographic issues that naturally lead to population decline, the COVID-19 pandemic, the opiate epidemic, and an increase in homelessness. We did not shrink from these challenges or react hastily. We worked through them calmly and with resolve. And while we worked through them, we did all this and more together. We developed strong and respectful relationships with Batchewana First Nation, Garden River First Nation, the Indigenous Friendship Center, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. We supported their initiatives, developed some jointly with them, and began the process of reconciliation by listening and learning about the truth of the Indian residential school system. These relationships are critical to our community's future, and I'd strongly encourage Mayor Shoemaker and our next council to prioritize them. We have much to learn from the Indigenous leadership in Balating, and we are fortunate to have their friendship and their example. It's your sister's. Oh, it's her sister. For our youth, we assembled the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council and supported its initiatives for 8 years. We attended countless elementary schools and high school classes to speak with our students about the importance of citizenship, democracy, and kindness. I'll get you a drink of water after. We began Mayor for a Day to give children a chance to have a voice about our community's future, and we spent some time in City Hall. We also started the Mayor's Christmas Card Challenge to give the kids something fun to do during the holiday season. We completed a full review of city spending. This is actually my life. You can't do that because Daddy's giving a speech right now. So if you can't sit quietly, you got to go back up and sit with Mommy. For what? Okay, just give me 5 minutes. Okay. You can tell which one the challenge is, eh? In City Hall, we completed a full review of city spending. We improved the city budgeting process, having it take place sooner to provide councils with more meaningful input and to allow more time for contracts to be tendered. We implemented a vacancy management plan and a job gapping policy to manage labor costs. We made investments in and improved our emergency medical service capacity and completed a fire master plan, setting the long-term course for a sustainable fire service. We implemented a new and improved board and committee appointment process. We reduced the size of council and froze mayor council honorariums. We developed and implemented a much stronger and better code of conduct for City Hall. We substantially reduced the sewer surcharge for both our residential and commercial consumers. We developed a long-term tax plan to help restore balance across the different tax classes. We adopted a community improvement plan to help incentivize new industrial and commercial development. We developed a surplus policy and a reserve fund policy to ensure budget surpluses are used responsibly. We decreased the city's energy and maintenance costs by changing all the streetlights to LEDs. We introduced cultural competency training into City Hall in conjunction with the Indigenous Friendship Center. We restructured the municipality. We restructured the municipality and redeveloped the city's mission. So I think my wife's gonna come up and get this one before somebody gets hurt. You gotta go, mommy. Yeah, you gotta go, mommy. You can take that with you. Just, so that's two different children who fell off this, the three. We introduced cultural competency training into City Hall in conjunction with the Indigenous Friendship Center. We restructured the municipality and redeveloped the city's vision, mission, and strategic plan to focus on community development, bringing the EDC Tourism Sault Ste. Marie staff in-house. We completed and implemented a transit optimization study. Just as important, started the process to make additional and important investments in transit to improve our transit services. We improved the city's bylaw and property standards capacity and the legal processes we follow to enforce those standards. We developed a brand new city. We developed a new brand for the city and began actively marketing ourselves as a great place to live, a place where you belong. One of my daughters has the mouse and the screen's moving really rapidly, so yeah. So we developed a new brand for the city and began actively marketing ourselves as a great place to live, a place where you belong. We developed and completed an arts and cultural heritage plan, corporate information technology and digital strategy, an updated active transportation and complete street strategy, an updated parks and recreation master plan, parks revitalization strategy, a community culture plan, a fleet management service review, a James Street neighborhood strategy, a downtown ambassador program, greenhouse gas reduction plan, and a winter control study, which will form service level decisions at Public Works. We commissioned a third-party independent municipal service review, and we are completing a streamlined development funding study. We completed a new official plan for the next council's consideration and action. We improved the city's financial position and its credit rating, moving from A+ in 2014 to AA+ today. In the last year of council term alone, we have approved 636 residential units, which will make a substantial difference to our housing supply. In our community, we help manage through the substantial economic instability of our first term and the COVID pandemic in our second term. We completed a mayor's community consultation in partnership with the city's planning department. We led and participated in the creation of a broad-based community development plan, Future Sault Ste. Marie, setting specific community goals, and we actioned that plan in substantive and measurable ways. We helped Sault Area Hospital receive the capital funding and regulatory approvals required to offer angioplasty right here in Sault Ste. Marie. We helped the Ontario Finished Rest Home in Vandale receive the approval for additional much-needed long-term care beds. We supported many positive quality of life developments such as the Gore Street reconstruction, pump track in Esposito Park, the Strathclair Dog Park, hub trail extensions, the sensory playground, splash pad at Bellevue Park, and the one to come at Manzo Park, the twin pad at the Northern Community Center, the skating trails in Clerk Park, along with new investments in Jamestown and at Rosedale Park. We made significant investments in our trail system, making Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma a mountain biking destination. We developed a downtown revitalization strategy and actioned the majority of it, including a newly streetscape Bay Street, downtown plaza, a new home for the Mill Market, refurbished marina with plans for the improvement of both Spring Street and Queen Street. We acquired the abandoned rail property from CN that abuts the Gateway site to complete the property and give it direct access to Bay Street. With the relocation of the Mill Market, we have freed up the entire site for future development, which I'm confident we will see in the near term. We worked with Nolan to successfully lobby the federal government for increased funding for FedNor and to develop an immigration strategy for Northern Ontario, the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. And we have used RNIP to connect our employers with the human resources they need to be successful and that our community needs to grow. We participated in and supported the development of a community drug strategy and a community well-being and safety plan. At the PUC, we worked to manage utility costs by foregoing some planned and permitted increase to both electricity distribution and water rates. We improved the quality of our services and of our customer service. We developed and received regulatory approval for a community-wide smart grid, the first of its kind in Canada, that will improve the reliability of the electric system and make our community a leader in the country. We started new businesses and diversified our holdings beyond electricity distribution. We will be in the transmission business with PUC Transmission, a new transmission company that supports Algoma's modernization process while generating new revenues for our community. We are now in the water main relining business with Watertight, bringing cost savings and innovation to our own community and marketing those services to generate revenues in other communities. We acquired Northern Waterworks, Inc., and through it became the second largest water service provider in the province, putting us in a great position to grow. We increased the dividend to the shareholder and significantly increased the enterprise value of the PUC group of companies. To my council colleagues, past and present, we did this work together. We did this work with city staff and with our community partners, sometimes leading the work, sometimes supporting the work, but in whichever capacity, it all got done for the same reason and in the same way. We worked with each other. We worked with city staff. And we worked with our community partners. We treated each other, city staff, and our community partners respectfully. We listened to each other in this chamber. We took matters seriously. We discussed them seriously. And then when we collectively decided how to proceed, and we proceeded. We provided stable, ethical, and competent municipal governance to our community. I thank each of my council colleagues, this term and last term, for being a part of all of this work and for the contributions that each of you made to our collective success. It is reasonable to suggest that our community is in better shape for our collective efforts. In actual dollars, we have a lower municipal burden than all of our Northern Ontario comparators, Timmins, North Bay, Sudbury, and Thunder Bay. As a percentage of household income, our municipal burden is lower than North Bay, Sudbury, and Thunder Bay. The value of construction permits issued in 2014 was $93.5 million. The value of construction permits issued in 2021 was $210 million. And we are again approaching 200 million for 2022. Our school board enrollment is up significantly and our post-secondary enrollment is at a high water mark and growing. We are seeing historic investments in our industrial sector totaling almost $1 billion. One of those investments modernizes Algoma, greens its manufacturing process, and gives it market stability for years to come. The other centralizes a large part of Tenaris's operations right here in Sault Ste. Marie and creates a manufacturing hub that we can be proud is located here. We expect our municipal property assessment to rise on our next reassessment, which would help even out the levy ratios and hopefully give Mayor Shoemaker and his council some financial breathing room to face the significant challenges ahead of them. And we should acknowledge as a community that there are significant challenges ahead of them. Our structural demographic challenges still exist. They affect our ability to keep jobs in Sault Ste. Marie and to attract additional economy to our community. To address those challenges, we need to maintain our focus on being a welcoming community. And we need to continue to make quality of life investments in our community so that we can compete with other communities who are also trying to maintain or grow their own populations. The climate crisis is clearly a tremendous threat. We'll have to adjust, adapt, and to the most significant degree we can mitigate our environmental impact. This is not going to come without difficult decisions and some expense. And I ask our community to recognize that Mayor Shoemaker and our city council have to work through and address these issues. It is critical that they do, and I'm hopeful that they will. The opioid epidemic has not abated. In fact, it has gotten worse, and Northern Ontario clearly has greater need than the remainder of the province. Our community's mental health and addiction challenges are more acute, and homelessness is more prevalent here than it's ever been. In the context of these challenges, it's recently been suggested that the city is underfunding its police services. I understand the reflex to see investment in policing as a solution. I spent over 7 years at the police service, and I can attest that our officers have very challenging jobs. The pressure of the opioid epidemic and our mental health and addiction challenges is clearly and substantially felt in that building by both our uniform and our non-uniform members. However, The fact is that we have been steadily increasing spending at the police service. In 2015, we budgeted and spent $25.5 million. In 2021, we budgeted $31.5 million and spent $32.4 million. That is a $7 million increase in money spent between 2015 and 2021. We increased the budget again for 2022 with another increase scheduled for 2023. Of our comparator communities, we spend the same on policing per capita as North Bay and more on policing per capita than all of Timmins, Sarnia, Belleville, and Sudbury. We are only outspent by Thunder Bay. I suggest to our council, our next council, and our community at large, that in a climate of very limited funds, we have to be cautious and thoughtful about increasing funding to address the downstream consequence of critically serious societal challenges at the expense of addressing the root cause of those critically serious societal challenges. But it's simply, every dollar we spend addressing the symptoms of the problem is one less dollar we have to address the actual cause of the problem. To that end, there is very little the municipality can do to build healthcare infrastructure, operational healthcare infrastructure. It is outside both of our funding capacity and our legal jurisdiction. But what we can do is invest in our social service infrastructure. The DSAB released a report last month about supportive housing and homelessness in Sault Ste. Marie. We have 10 supportive housing beds in our community, and we need a minimum of at least 80 more. We have 83 shelter beds in our community, and we need at least 25 more in the near term. We need more funding to expand our street outreach. These investments come with a big price tag, and it is going to be hard to incorporate the increase to whatever degree the DSAB board determines most appropriate into our municipal levy. But we need a path forward to make these investments to some substantial degree if we want to make and see a difference in the critical issues that our community faces. I want to say explicitly that I believe Mayor Shoemaker, our city council, and our community can meet these challenges. I've had a front row seat to Sault Ste. Marie's strength, resolve, and kindness for 8 years. It is impressive and I believe unmatched. I also want to take this opportunity to express my confidence in Mayor Shoemaker. He is an intelligent and capable person who is committed to our community. This is where it's going to get hard again. He comes to this position with significant council experience and a clear understanding of the responsibilities that come with this office. I know that he can serve our community well, and I will always be available to him to support him in his leadership. To city staff, the city of Sault Ste. Marie is blessed to have a capable, professional, and dedicated team working for it every single day. From our transit operators to the team of public works, to the clerks in finance, to our firefighters, and everyone in between. On behalf of myself, city council, and our community, I recognize the contribution you make to our community, and I am deeply grateful for it. I know that you will give Mayor Shoemaker and our next council the same effort and respect that you gave me and this council. CAO White and my team in the mayor's office who are present, most of them in any event, past and present, Mike, Amanda, Jordan, and my right-hand person for 8 full years, Lisa Bell. I needed a lucky bounce when I showed up here 8 years ago. I was not of City Hall or from City Hall. And I got it. It could not have been possible for me to find or assemble a better team than I found when I got here. Any success we can celebrate is a success that you made possible. My efforts and accomplishments are indivisible from yours. There's like 2 more paragraphs. Lastly, to the city of Sault Ste. Marie, I want to thank you for the honor of being your mayor for 8 years. It was a dream job for me, and while I didn't get everything right all the time, I believe I got most things right most of the time. I can say unequivocally that I did my best. And then I leave deeply grateful for the opportunity to serve our community and for your ongoing support and your ongoing kindness. Thank you. If you can believe it, I came down here earlier and Madison and Frank were down here changing the camera angle so people could see me better. And they said, why are you doing that? And they said, well, then people won't have to see Rachel and Malcolm. And I told them not to do that. But then I thought then Rachel and Malcolm are gonna have to sit there and be on camera through the whole thing. So I let them do it. And before we proceed, I want to point out one thing. Because of your collegiality and your respect and how well you operated as a council, in 8 years, I have not used my gavel. And that's a testament to you all. So I want to, before I go, I do want to recognize Max up there. He was at my first council meeting and he came to see me off tonight. And I want to recognize also, I've got my cousin's boys, my cousin Matthew and Max here too. And I want to recognize them for being with us tonight. And the last thing I want to do, because I cut this out of the speech because I didn't think I can get through it, but I think I'm done crying, so I think I can get through it now. I want to recognize Giselle Gardy. Her late husband, Vic Gardy, was the first person to tell me that I should drop all the other political nonsense I was involved in and be the mayor of the city of Sault Ste. Marie. And I listened to Vic, and Vic was right. So I want to acknowledge Vic and Gisela for being here tonight. So Madam Clerk, I will, when you're ready, adjourn the meeting.
I do have a motion by councillors Dufour and Gardy, resolved that this council now adjourn.
All in favor? Oh,
Did you want that? You have a motion from the floor.
oh, I don't know what this says. This is the first time in 8 years this has happened. Where motions come. and I haven't-
Procedurally, I'm not sure that's.
I could demand to see it, actually. I'm not gonna do that.
It's a motion by councillors Shoemaker and Bezo-Allen. Whereas Mayor Christian Provenzano, Paul Christian, Donna Hilsinger, and Rick Nero have served the city of Sault Ste. Marie with passion and zeal. And whereas from the proper governance of the city to economic development to environment issues to tourism to ward-specific issues, recreation and culture, each has been a champion of causes near and dear to them and their constituents over their terms in office. And whereas among the outgoing councillors, there is a collective 48 years of experience at council. Now therefore be it resolved that council thank Mayor Provenzano and the outgoing councillors for their service to the city and their wards and to wish them all the possible success in their next endeavors.
All in favor? Thank you for that.
And again, a motion by councillors Dufour and Gardy resolved that this council now adjourn.
All in favor?